I grew up in Toronto, and when I was a little kid, I just always had a ball in my hand, and I've always loved it more than anything.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are having one of the greatest seasons in the history of the NBA.
For Derek Jones, 5-point game. Gilgeous-Alexander drills it. A three from Shai. 2-point game. Third quarter. Shai able to shift DiVincenzo.
Drives it, stops it, shot fake. Oh, wow. So silky by Gilgeous-Alexander. To the night thus far, and Gilgeous-Alexander putting together a few of them.
And this right here is like he's dancing right there. Great footwork.
Congratulations. You are the NBA Kia MVP.
Hamilton, Ontario, 2004. A 6-year-old boy sits next to his mother, watching her Olympic medals gleam in the afternoon light. Shai Gilgeous had competed for Antigua and Barbuda in the 400-meter sprint at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, running 55.48 seconds at just 21 years old, the same age her son would be when he'd meet his NBA mentor. The little boy looks up at her with those big determined eyes and says something that would echo for the next 21 years. "Mom, I'm going to win the NBA MVP award someday." Most parents would smile and pat their kid's head. But Charmaine wasn't most parents. She was an Olympian who knew what it felt like to run against the world's fastest women. She knew the fire it took to chase impossible dreams. She knew what it meant to represent your country on the biggest stage. She didn't laugh. She believed him. That little boy was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Fast forward to 2012, St. Thomas More Catholic Secondary School, Hamilton. 14-year-old Shai walks into the gym, confident he'll make the junior varsity basketball team. Why wouldn't he? His dad, Vaughn, played basketball. His mom was an Olympic sprinter. Athletic excellence was literally in his DNA. The coach posts the list. Shai's name isn't there. He got cut. While other kids sulked home, Shai made another promise to his Olympic sprinter mom. This one with tears in his eyes and fire in his voice. "I'll make everyone who doubted me regret it." Charmaine looked at her son, this gangly, awkward teenager with fully grown feet, but not the motor skills to match, and she saw something the coaches missed. She saw herself at 16, being told she wasn't fast enough for the Olympics. She just nodded. She knew that fire, she'd felt it before. Here's what nobody tells you about Shai's story. Soccer was actually his best sport. His father Vaughn later admitted, soccer was the sport Shai was best at early on, but after getting cut from basketball, something shifted. The rejection became rocket fuel. Shai didn't just make the 9th grade team, he dominated it. Team MVP, city championship, the kid who wasn't good enough for JV was now the best player on his level. But the real magic happened between freshman and senior year, the growth spurt. Shai shot up to 6'6", but it wasn't just his height. His confidence grew with every inch. By senior year, he wasn't just making teams, he was leading them. The gangly kid who got cut was now getting recruited by colleges. July 10, 2019, Oklahoma City Thunder. 21-year-old Shai Gilgeous-Alexander meets Chris Paul, the point god himself. This wasn't just a teammate joining the roster, this was a master meeting his apprentice. CP3 didn't just teach Shai basketball, he taught him how to be a man. You can't just score, Paul told him during those late-night film sessions. You have to make everyone around you better. That's what separates good players from legends. Paul taught him how to read the room during games, how to lead without saying a word, how to carry the weight of a franchise on your shoulders without letting it crush your spirit. Even now, years later, they still talk during playoff runs. The student and teacher bond unbroken. Chris Paul didn't just mentor Shai's game, he mentored his character. 2023, Shai is living the dream. NBA All-Star, rising superstar. He buys a beautiful lakefront property in Burlington, Ontario, a dream house for his growing family. Within days, he's fleeing in terror. The previous tenant, a crypto fraudster named Aiden Platursky, with death threats following him. Investors showing up at the house, security concerns so severe that Shai and his partner had to abandon their dream home. Most people would take the loss and move on. Not Shai, he fought. Court battle, legal precedent. The same mentality that made him refuse to accept getting cut from his high school team now protected his family's safety. He won. The purchase was rescinded, justice served. The Olympic sprinter's son who learned to never accept defeat had just proven it again, this time in a courtroom instead of on a court. April 2024, a hospital room. Shai holds his newborn son, Aries, for the first time. In that moment, everything shifts. The kid who dreamed of MVP at 6 years old suddenly realizes there's something bigger than basketball, something more important than individual glory. "I'll retire before I'm 40, he announces later, shocking the basketball world. "I won't miss my children's lives like some athletes do." The same drive that made him great now has a new target, being the father he always had. May 21st, 2025, the NBA MVP announcement. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the kid who got cut from his high school team, the Olympic sprinter's son who promised his mom he'd win MVP at age 6, stands on stage holding the trophy. But when he speaks, his voice breaks, not from joy, but from gratitude. "This award isn't just mine," he says, looking directly at the camera. "It belongs to everyone who believed when I couldn't believe in myself. It belongs to my mom who never laughed at a 6-year-old's impossible dream. It belongs to my teammates I consider brothers." After the ceremony, he does something unprecedented. He gifts his teammates Rolex watches, custom jackets, iPhones, and Beats headphones. "My victories are collective achievements," he explains. June 2025, NBA Finals MVP, championship ring, the ultimate basketball achievement. But here's what makes Shai different from every other superstar. He's already planning his exit. While other players chase rings until their bodies break down, Shai has a different plan. He'll retire in his prime to be present for his children's lives. "Basketball made me famous," he says, holding his son Aries. "But fatherhood made me complete." Want to know what makes Shai truly special? It's not just basketball. He's a fashion icon. GQ's Most Stylish Man of 2022, creative director at Converse, designs his own outfits without a stylist. He unplugs from basketball, returns to Hamilton to work out with childhood friends for that sense of home. He leads by example, not by volume. Teammates describe him as even-keeled and inspiring, never too high, never too low. His only competition is the man in the reflection, self-improvement obsessed, but in the healthiest way possible. This isn't just a basketball success story, this is a story about generational excellence, an Olympic sprinter passing her mindset to her son. This is a story about turning rejection into rocket fuel, getting cut and using it to fuel a championship run. This is a story about choosing family over fame, achieving everything you dreamed of, and choosing something even greater. This is a story about quiet leadership, making everyone around you better without needing the spotlight. Most importantly, this is a story about keeping promises. The 6-year-old who promised his Olympic mom he'd win MVP, promise kept. The 14-year-old who promised to keep doubters regret cutting him, promise kept. The father who promised to retire early to be present for his children, promise in progress. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't just become NBA MVP. He became the second Canadian ever to win the award. He became Finals MVP. He became NBA champion. He became a fashion icon. He became a leader. He became a father. But most importantly, he became the man his Olympic sprinter mother always knew he could be. The kid who got cut from his high school team just proved that sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting everything. And then choosing love over legacy. That's not just a basketball story, that's a life story. That's a legend. Every time you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the court, calm, collected, making impossible shots look easy, remember this. You're watching the Olympic sprinter's son who got cut from his high school team, promised his mom he'd win MVP at age 6, learned leadership from Chris Paul, fought legal battles to protect his family, and now chooses being a present father over basketball immortality. You're not just watching a basketball player, you're watching a promise keeper, and that's why his story hits different. Because it's not just about basketball, it's about character, it's about family, it's about keeping your word when the whole world is watching. The 6-year-old's promise to his Olympic mom, fulfilled. The 14-year-old's promise to prove the doubters wrong, fulfilled. The father's promise to choose family over fame, in progress. That's not just MVP behavior, that's legendary human behavior. And that's why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's story will inspire people long after his jersey is retired. Because some promises are bigger than basketball, and some legends are built on love, not just wins. Drop a fire emoji if this story gave you chills. Tag someone who needs to hear about the power of keeping promises, because this isn't just Shai's story. It's proof that dreams don't have expiration dates.